This video will help you decide whether it is a good idea for you to take psychedelics or if you should stay away from them. I do not recommend the use of any legal or illegal substances, but clearly many people have benefited from them, including me. But in this video, we are only going to talk about the classic of psychedelics, like LSD, psilocybin mushrooms, peyote and DMT. Certainly not weed or ketamine, and definitely not deliriants like datura. If you want to go crazy, take datura, but otherwise I encourage you to stay away from it. I would say that one group who should definitely stay away from psychedelics are those who suffer from certain mental illnesses. If you suffer from psychotic episodes or you are predisposed to them and you've had them in the past, I discourage taking psychedelics. In this case, psychedelics could definitely awaken in you psychotic episodes. But if you don't suffer from psychosis and you take the psychedelics in a safe manner, then you probably, almost definitely, will not get psychosis from them. The same can be said about schizophrenia. If you do not suffer from schizophrenia and you don't have a predisposition in your family, then you are good to go. But if you do have a familiar history of schizophrenia, then I would stay away from these drugs. We don't know much about the subject because psychedelics are illegal, so scientists cannot study them. But it is believed that psychedelics can speed up the onset of schizophrenia, even more so than alcohol or tobacco, so be careful there. The same can be said about HPPD. Another group who should probably not take psychedelics are immature psychonauts who are not willing to follow on the safety guidelines. So if you are not willing to take the substance in a safe environment and not mix it with alcohol or weed, then I discourage taking psychedelics. Not only would you risk harming yourself, but you also would risk harming this psychedelic movement. Because if you take LSD on a party and then you jump out of the window, you can be sure that it's gonna show in the media. And nobody will care that you mixed the substance with alcohol and that you took it in an extremely bad environment. They will just connect the suicide to a psychedelic. And stories like that are what the stigma around psychedelics is based on. On the other hand, some people who definitely can benefit from psychedelics are those who have depression, severe anxiety, or at least mild anxiety, who have a lot of stress in their lives, or who have PTSD. All these four things can be treated extremely efficiently with psychedelics. A single high-dose psilocybin psychotherapy session can decrease your depression long-term by as much as 40 or 50%. And if you suffer from PTSD, there is no better cure that we know of than MDMA. As little as 3 MDMA psychotherapy sessions rid the vast majority, like 80% of the patients of PTSD. Psychedelics are also used to help people face their own death. Psilocybin mushrooms specifically have been used on those who are about to die in a few months. People with cancer or other irreversible diseases. And those people got to face their death on mushrooms and they realized that there is nothing to run away from. Of course, the magic mushrooms didn't save these people. Most of them are dead right now, but at least they enjoyed the last months of their lives. And even if you are not about to die in a few months, this is still a big benefit because facing your death allows you to find motivation to live. Another group of people who can greatly benefit from psychedelics are those after spiritual growth and becoming more loving. I have benefited from psychedelics just as much, if not more, than from hundreds or thousands of hours of meditation. These substances are extremely helpful for your spiritual growth, especially when you pair them with meditation. Psychedelics not only help you face your traumas and purify your consciousness by themselves, but they also help you develop the habit of meditation, and they also accelerate your meditation. So these are such great tools for anybody who wants to become more conscious. If you got an addiction, be it to alcohol or tobacco or even heroin, then psychedelics can definitely help you cure that. I'm specifically talking about psilocybin mushrooms and ibogaine. Although if you are going to take ibogaine, you got to be careful because this one can be extremely dangerous. There is one study, for example, where they had 3 sessions of magic mushroom psychotherapy, and most of the participants, again it was like 80%, cure their tobacco addiction, which is one of the worst addictions you can have and one of the hardest to deal with and to cure. The same goes for alcohol. The inventor of Anonymous Alcoholics actually included the LSD in their treatment. And when LSD was banned and made illegal, Anonymous Alcoholics became less powerful in curing their alcohol addictions. This doesn't only apply to substances addiction, this also applies to addictions to social media or TV or adult content. By the way, I said that psychedelics are very effective for treating depression. However, if you are depressed and you are taking antidepressants, be careful, because combining certain antidepressants, SSRI specifically, with psychedelics can create problems like serotonin syndrome. So if you are going to take psychedelics to cure your depression, just get off antidepressants at least 2 weeks prior. Another group of people who should not take psychedelics are those who are not willing to face their traumas. If you are not willing to open up to what is in your subconscious mind, you might not want to get into psychedelics in the first place. Because these substances can almost force you to face your fears, but you can still reject that. But if you reject what the psychedelic is trying to show you, then this can create an extremely challenging experience. And in some cases, it can leave psychonauts worse off than they were before the trip. This almost exclusively happens to people who are rejecting their experience and pushing it away. It will not happen if you invite it, but it can be challenging, and if you know that you are not going to be able to do it, be careful. But other than the problems that I mentioned, psychedelics appear to be extremely safe. Physically, things like LSD or DMT or magic mushrooms are not going to harm you at all. There is not a way they could, so long as you follow the safety guidelines. Another problem is that you could get arrested for possessing or taking these substances if they are illegal in your country. But I want you to compare all of these possible negatives that are almost always preventable with all the possible benefits. The benefits I've mentioned so far are, in my opinion, already huge. But there also are benefits like improved creativity and open-mindedness and increased love for nature. So in my opinion, if you are willing to follow the safety guidelines and you are not predisposed to schizophrenia or psychosis, these substances long-term are amazing for you. But if you value short-term comfort more than long-term happiness, then I encourage you to stay away from psychedelics. I love you so much. Thank you for watching and share this video if you enjoyed it.